Martin Foley was elected MLA for Albert Park in September 2007, taking over the seat of the previous Deputy Premier, the Honourable John Thwaites. Prior to entering Parliament, Mr Foley served the Australian Services Union and also spent many years as Chief of Staff to various state ministers. Martin Foley has been awarded a Centenary Medal for contributions to occupational health and safety, and he lists amongst his many interests the St Kilda Football Club. And Martin, great to see you.
Thank you.
So what are some of the main issues that you'll be working on as the local member?
Since I got elected in 2007, from a local's perspective, the main issues have been getting out there, meeting local communities, meeting local businesses, finding out what their issues are. Fundamentally around here, it's about delivering on the commitments around what state governments do, providing the important infrastructure in health, education, public transport, providing the right business for commerce and industry to get on with their business.
The challenges that face local business, what do you see as some of the main challenges or issues that confront business these days, in the area especially?
This is a very diverse area. I cover everywhere from the cutting edge manufacturing sectors down in Port Melbourne through to the emerging knowledge based industries, also in Port Melbourne, South Melbourne, St Kilda. Fundamentally they share the same issues. It's about creating the right regulatory environment that allows them to get on with their business, providing the right economic environment that gives them the support that they can make investment decisions in confidence, knowing that the environment is competitive and supports their innovation.
City of Port Phillip and the state government work nicely hand in hand, especially dealing with local precincts such as South Melbourne. What are they actually doing to enhance the area?
Indeed, look, the City of Port Phillip are fantastic partners for the state and for the local community in developing business opportunities around here. Locally in South Melbourne, the whole Bank Street, Clarendon Street activities precinct area is going to be fundamental. What we're seeing is a combination of investment in everything from promotion, street amenity, also towards encouraging both residents and businesses to come back to South Melbourne. And in that regard we've been very successful. This is a fast growing area, South Bank, South Melbourne, Port Melbourne. These are areas that businesses and residents are flocking back to. And it's a particular type of resident, it's high value, high income, people are coming back, and at the same time being attracted by the diverse, interesting lifestyle of them.
Do you think there's a trap that perhaps with the development as it moves forward, we could lose touch with the history of South Melbourne?
Of course, this is always important. You don't want to kill the goose that lays the golden egg, but I don't think so. The City of Port Phillip and the local businesses and traders are very attuned to making sure that development is appropriate. I think you'll find that particularly the Bank Street precinct project that Council and the government are partnering on at the moment will both attract business and residents, but at the same time protect the amenity of the local community. I think you can see that in areas such as the South Melbourne market redevelopment that's occurred around there, the spotlight areas there. There's an enormous amount of development going on in the area, but it's appropriate development.
Were there big shoes to fill when you took over John Thwaites' position? Because he was iconic for the whole area.
He was indeed. Look, John was a fantastic local member for this region for 15 years. Before that he was the Mayor of South Melbourne, so he's had 20 years of public life experience in this area, and filling those shoes is a very big challenge. But interestingly enough, the last 8 years he was Deputy Premier, and you know, everybody wanted a piece of him. The benefit I've had over the last 5 months is that I'm the local member, I'm getting right involved with local community, local businesses, local residents about pushing their issues and working with them on their issues. So in that respect it's actually been a plus to come in on the back of John's work. I've been able to build it up from the ground floor.
Although the rumour is that the Limerick Hotel has suffered a loss in revenue since he's been gone, although I'm sure you'll maintain that.
I understand that not to be the case. It was a very sensible, mild approach, because of course we have a policy in the state government about reducing harm from alcohol. That's right. And we all live and breathe that policy.
Which is quite ironic, spoken by a St Kilda supporter. I mean, that's part of our heritage.
This year we're focused on an outcome. Until that last Saturday in September, it's one game at a time.
If you were to compare, say, yourself and John Thwaites, what would you say was the thing that stood out the most from the two personalities, yours and John's?
Okay. Well, John was a highly successful local member. Personality-wise, I think we're quite similar. We're both local community people. We've both been in the area a very long time. In terms of how we would be different, he was Deputy Premier for 8 years. And, I'm just got here, and I look forward to where I can, following in his footsteps. Nobody saw John's resignation coming. I fortunately happened to be in the right place at the right time and gained the local support. I'd like to think that I'm still fundamentally the same person. Obviously, you get exposed to a lot more pressures and a lot more time demands, but that's okay. I've still got a supportive family and two little St Kilda supporters who I'm sure are going to demand their trips to see St Kilda march towards the premiership this year. These issues are all going to, I think, help me keep my feet on the ground, whilst obviously trying to be a strong and effective advocate for the local community.
How would you describe your electorate, say, business-wise?
It's booming. We have a combination of fast-growing, small, knowledge-based businesses. We have an extensive manufacturing sector that's been under a lot of pressure in recent years. We have an incredible amount of export focus from large multinationals such as Toyota through to very small micro businesses that are all promoting their wares both in the region and internationally. This is actually a very exciting area to represent local businesses in.
Looking ahead 5 or 10 years' time, if you're not Premier then, how do you see your involvement with the South Melbourne community? Where do you see South Melbourne heading?
The rates of growth around South Melbourne are particularly high. The real challenge is to manage that growth appropriately. I think South Melbourne, as part of a more vibrant Melbourne and Victorian community, has a fantastic future. We'll continue to see population growth. We need to manage amenity, transport and support for both residents and businesses over that time, and I'm confident we can do it.
And being a soothsayer of the past, or a St Kilda supporter with a hopeful future, how do you see the Saints going? This is one of your great loves of your life and frustrations of every supporter's life. So where do you see us heading this year, and why do you see us going so well?
Being a St Kilda supporter is character building, is the nicest way you can put it.
Very teary.
Yes, yes. And I think this year, with a newly tried coach who's now had 12 months under his belt, with a list that any other coach would kill for, and a forward line that is unmatched, and a defence line that is equally unmatched, and for Robert Harvey's, who knows what year he'd be into or not, I think that combination will see us successful.
He'll be the only St Kilda player with a seniors card, I'm sure, and still do very well.
Indeed.
So, okay, number 1, 2 or 3, or even in the top 4?
Oh, we'll be premiers without a doubt.
That's right. Said like a true supporter, and good luck with the gnashing of the teeth and the lubrication that follows thereafter.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.